Yo, what is up guys? Pirate here. Welcome back to another video once again. Now today's video we're going to actually be going through the complete care on the corn snake. Just common corn snake, nothing too fancy about them. A lot of people have owned them. Very decent beginner snake. But we're going to go through the entire care and how you're going to need to take care of them, what you're going to need to do so to have a happy and healthy corn snake. So let's get on with today's video. Hey guys, so when getting into the care of corn snakes, there are going to be a few different things that you're going to need to purchase, of course, for your corn snake. One is going to be an enclosure. Now for one baby corn snake, a 10-gallon works fine. Then after about 2 years, you want to work up to something like a 20-gallon. And then after about 4 to 6 years, something like a 40-gallon would be perfect. A 40-gallon will last your corn snake plenty of time. You can do a 20-gallon if your corn snake's a smaller male, but for an adult female or a really large male, try to do a 40-gallon breeder sized enclosure. So a 40-gallon is what Fuego, my corn snake, is currently housed in. There's my foot compared to the enclosure, so it's a pretty decent size enclosure. It's not small at all. Just try to do a 40-gallon for one adult, and that'll be plenty of space. You won't ever have to upgrade it again. 40 gallons can be purchased at many different places for usually around $100 to $150. So lighting, you don't need anything too fancy. What I have is just a little LED bulb, nothing serious. You don't need UVB or heat lights on them. So that's going to be the good thing, is lighting is going to be really cheap. I only have this LED bulb just to keep his enclosure bright so he's not in a little dark area. For heating and temperature, there are going to be some things you're going to want to do. So I'd recommend getting a thermostat and a heat pad together. Now the thermostat's going to maintain the temperature of your heat pad, and your heat pad of course is going to keep your snake warm, happy, and healthy. What the heck do I need a heat pad for? Well, a heat pad's going to keep these guys warm, of course, because these reptiles are cold-blooded. So having a good heat pad is going to be pretty beneficial and important. Another thing is, after he's had a meal, what he'll do is he'll go and lay on top of the heat pad. It'll warm up his belly and it'll allow him to digest his meal quicker, which will also help reduce any sort of stress. So yeah, and on his heat pad, you want his heat pad to be about 80 degrees at the most, and then the rest of his cage be around room temperature. They don't need too much warmth, just a little bit to get them by. Thing that might be pretty important, you don't necessarily have to have it, is a humidity gauge. That'll usually go on the side of your enclosure somewhere. The reason you're going to have that humidity gauge is basically what that's going to do is make sure, of course, it's not too humid, or make sure it's going to be humid enough for your snake. Now with corn snakes, as long as you spray them down once a week, you should be a-okay. So humidity gauge isn't going to be that important. So a lot of reptile owners and, say for example, corn snake owners will use paper towels, newspaper, aspen, EcoWorth, carpet. There's so many different options that people put corn snakes on. What I personally like the best is EcoWorth, or like the jungle mix, and I actually have a mix of both of them right here. That's what is in my hand, is EcoWorth and jungle mix. I like to add to my substrate is leaf litter. Now of course, when you use leaf litter, make sure it's been baked or treated some way somehow, otherwise you do take the risk of potentially giving your snake mites, funguses, and other sort of diseases that you don't want your snake to get. But the reason why I use leaf litter is first because it looks kind of natural, like as if he was out in the forest, and then because it allows him to kind of poke his head out and feel really secure. So leaf litter is another good addition that you can add to your enclosure. When it comes to decor for your corn snake, there's not too much you need. I simply like some foliage, a hiding place, a water bowl, and then maybe a branch or two. That's about it. You don't need too much decor when it comes to these guys. Hide, of course, is going to give him a good place to hide. It's going to be pretty important. Of course, the more hides, the better, because all your snake is going to want to do is just hide and stay away. Foliage also gives him a little bit of security and comfort, and the branch right here is going to give him a little bit of enrichment. So say he wants to climb up it or whatever, that's going to give him a little bit of enrichment. And of course your water bowl. Water, you have a couple different options. On his water bowl, you want to give him enough space to completely soak as if it was his bathtub. Keep in mind, this water bowl is going to become his bathtub, his toilet, his shower. It's going to become everything in one. So you're going to want to keep it really clean. Anytime he poops in it, always clean it out. Don't let it sit there. It's going to be really bad for your snake, and it just gets really bad smelling. Water that's going to be going inside of the water bowl, you have a couple different options. For example, some people use just regular sink water or faucet water. I don't prefer to do that because it has chlorine and other chemicals that could potentially be fatal to your corn snake. It's kind of like as if we drank out of a pool all day. It's not going to make us feel very well. Also, there's the option of getting gallon water. So some people will go to Walmart or Target or whatever and get a gallon of distilled water, spring water, for like 80 cents a gallon. It's already dechlorinated and it's good good to go, but you're spending like $1 per gallon. Here, I like to use water conditioner. What this stuff's gonna do is you're gonna add a couple drops to tap water, and it's actually going to dechlorinate the water. Now, the reason why I like ReptiSafe is it dechlorinates the water and then adds extra electrolytes. It lowers pH and lowers alkalinity, all that good stuff. I love ReptiSafe. Another thing I like about ReptiSafe is this $8 bottle would probably do about 1,000 to 2,000 gallons of water. I'm not even kidding. So it does a lot. You're gonna be saving a lot of money as opposed to buying separate gallons. So honestly, if you ever see this, try to get some ReptiSafe. This stuff is really, really good stuff. It dechlorinates water instantly as well. And then, as I said, it adds extra electrolytes and beneficial things to your water. So honestly, this is my favorite stuff in the world. So now, when it comes to diet for these guys have a very basic diet. All they're gonna eat are mice or rats. So depending on what your snake is used to and depending on what you're comfortable with feeding it, you can do live mice or frozen thawed mice. Frozen thawed mice, of course, come frozen and then you have to thaw them out yourself. Or live mice, you simply just toss in and let the snake go to town. I like feeding live. There's a lot of beneficial things to it. Some people hate it, some people love it. It just depends. But here's Fuego, by the way, guys. Super dope corn snake. As you can see, he's super chill. He's just trying to explore, not causing any issues whatsoever. Now, one thing I'm gonna have to tell you, diet is key when you're feeding your corn snakes. You don't want to feed them crickets. You don't want to feed them fish, obviously, nothing like that. Mice are very important. Now, when you're feeding him, make sure your mice are about 4 times the size of his head. So as you can see, his head's probably about 1 inch long. So I want a mouse or a rat that's going to be 4 inches. So you definitely want to give them a good sized meal, but keep in mind their jaws are double jointed so they're able to expand. And he's going up my sleeve. See that, guys? Oh my. So yeah, corn snakes, super dope animals overall. Now, one of the things I like about feeding live, in case you are wondering, is some of the stomach acids and the juices that the live mice have are going to go into your snake, and it's going to help your snake's stomach. It's going to help the pH and the acidity of your snake's stomach. So that's one of the main things I like about feeding live. See, he's going crazy right now. And now, when it comes to temperature and humidity of your corn snake, just keep the humidity to around, I'd say about 25%, and the temperature, oh my goodness, guys, look at him go. That's crazy. And then keep the temperature at around, I'd say around 80 degrees in this hot spot, and then around 75 in his cooler area. And then typically for the size on corn snakes, in case you're worried about them getting too big or staying too small, one adult male is going to get about 4 to 5 feet, and then a female, if you're lucky, will get about 6 to 6.5 feet. That's if you're really, really lucky. Otherwise, they usually are typically somewhat smaller. They're not super crazy animals, guys, but they're pretty good beginner snakes. Of course, there are better beginner snakes like Sambos or hognose snakes. That's a whole nother world. But corn snakes, guys, if y'all really want something that's going to be a decent looking animal, corn snake is the way to go. Yeah, that's Fuego. We'll let him go back in his cage and chill, do his thing. So as you can see, he kind of slithers in and out of the leaf litter. Pretty dope snake, as you can see. Nice colors on him. And there are also so many different colors and morphs of a corn snake. There's a corn snake that goes for around $600. It's called a palmetto. It's going to be kind of white with little red dots. It's an interesting looking snake. There's so many different morphs and colors that you can get. So it's not going to be just like that. Every corn snake's going to look different. Every corn snake's going to be priced different as well. Guys, that's kind of the complete basic care of corn snakes. Of course, there's more stuff that you could get in more detail with. But say you're just now beginning, this is the basic care guide. Say for a beginner, someone just getting started. So yeah, guys, let me know what y'all thought. If y'all had any other questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yeah, and do not forget to put locks or some books or something weighted on your enclosure. Otherwise, that corn snake will push out of the enclosure. Corn snakes are really, really strong animals, and they will lift up the lid or push open the door if you don't have a lock or something like that on it. Otherwise, guys, with that being said, that is going to be the complete care of the corn snake. Nothing too serious, nothing too crazy. Let me know what y'all thought in the comment section below. If y'all had any questions or suggestions, leave that in the comment section right now. And that's going to be it. To leave a huge fat like, guys. Make sure to subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.